on the presidency, or in the alternative that the Supreme Court order him to desist from his presidential ambitions. The plaintiff in the action is Kenneth Ejay Kranchi, an Accra-based journalist who has long posited that Mr. Mahama is not eligible to contest election 2024. Among the reliefs Kranchi is seeking is a declaration that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 66(1) of the 1992 Constitution, the term of years of a presidency in Ghana is 4 years. He's also seeking a declaration that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 66(1) and 2 of the 1992 Constitution, a person seeking a second presidential term must be a sitting president, and that a former president of Ghana is a ward of parliament. He further seeks that the relief or that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 68(2) of the 1992 Constitution, a former president of Ghana requires parliamentary approval before he can occupy any other office other than an office of state or any office that provides emolument. Another declaration he seeks is that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 68(3) of the 1992 Constitution, the office of the president is an office that provides emoluments, and that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 68(4), 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9, a former president of Ghana remains in the employ of the state. That on a former president of Ghana does not qualify to contest as president of Ghana. So this is what Ken Kranchi has gone to court to seek. We would have to then refer to the Constitution of Ghana. What does the Constitution say? William, maybe you want to help us dig into the Constitution a bit. You have yours. Oh, Helen, you have a Constitution here. Okay, you hold on to this, the Holy Book. And first of all, let's look at the issues that he's seeking. Article 66(1). What does it say? 66(1).
All right, so this is Article 66(1). Of course, I'm reading from the Constitution. 1992 Constitution.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
Let those who have ears listen. 66(1) is as follows: a person elected as president shall, subject to clause 3 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in as president. 2, a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. 3, the office of president shall become vacant: A, on the expiration of the period specified in clause 1 of this article, or B, if the incumbent dies or resigns from office or ceases to hold office under Article 69 of this Constitution. The president may, by writing, this is 66(4), the president may, by writing signed by him and addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, resign from his office as president.
I see. Interesting. Well, so let's look at 66. We've done 66(1), 2 of the 1992 Constitution. Let's move into 68 because that's where the meat of the matter is. 68. Let's start from 1 all the way down because it makes reference to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So let's read the entirety of 68. Yeah, Article 68 of the 1992 Constitution.
All right, then let's start. 68(1). The president shall not, while he continues in office as president, A, hold any other office of profit or emolument, whether private or public, or whether directly or indirectly, or B, hold the office of chancellor or head of any university of Ghana. 68(2). The president shall not, on leaving office as president, hold any office of profit or emolument except with the permission of Parliament in any establishment, either directly or indirectly, other than that of the state. 68(3). The president shall receive such salary, allowances, and facilities as may be prescribed by Parliament on the recommendation of the committee referred to in Article 71 of this Constitution. 4. On leaving office, the president shall receive a gratuity in addition to pension, equivalent to his salary, and other allowances and facilities prescribed by Parliament in accordance with Clause 3 of this article. 5. The salary, allowances, facilities, pensions, and gratuity referred to in clauses 3 and 4 shall be exempt from tax. 6. Where the president is removed from office under paragraph C of clause 1 of Article 69 of this Constitution or resigns, he shall be entitled to such pension and other retiring awards and facilities as Parliament may prescribe on the recommendation of the committee referred to in Article 71 of this Constitution. 7. The salary and allowances payable to the President and any pension or gratuity payable to him on leaving office shall be charged on the Consolidated Fund. 8. The salary, allowances, facilities, and privileges of the President shall not be varied to his disadvantage whilst he holds office. And finally, 68.9. The pension payable to the President and the facilities available in him shall not be varied to his disadvantage during his lifetime.
Okay, this is what the Constitution says. That's the word of the law, not the word of the Lord.
The word of the law.
The word of the law. William, what do you say? This is before court, so I'm being careful of subjudicing. But this is what this is what he is standing on. Mr. Kranchi is standing on.
And this was filed yesterday.
Yesterday, that's right.
No, but as far back as March 5th, there was an article on Ghana Web that was purported to have been written by the same gentleman,
Mr. Kranchi,
and he put out his arguments in that article. And so where he's gone now, he's seeking clarification because, of course, there are a lot of controversies.
Right.
This is not the first time this issue has come up, and for me, as a student of the Constitution and as a Ghanaian, I would just say that, look, it's important that we get the interpretation from the Supreme Court. And the details of the holding, what do we say, will help us going forward. Because this controversy has come up. President Mahama had his first term, because what he continued in respect of the late
Professor Mills
administration was not enough or long enough to constitute a full term. That's my understanding. And so he had his first term, and he in his own wisdom thinks that the Constitution allows him to go for a second term. And so Mr. Kranchi is in court to contest that.
Right.
And when it comes to constitutional matters, the apex court, the Supreme Court, is the best place to go. So he's in the right place. But I'm just saying that he's made his point clear in a lot of articles, a lot of statements. And the matter is before court. What else can I say but to just wait for the court to give his ruling and the reasons that will emanate from that ruling, and then we'll take it up from there. Because it will be very dangerous for anybody to try and do any.
You can't take the Supreme Court's job.
I can't. You can't. Yeah, because it's before court. It's fresh before court.
You'll be in trouble. Well, so what has Mr. Kranchi been saying? Actually, William made reference to some articles that have been written in the past. This is something on Prime News Ghana. This is dated the 29th of August 2018. It's by Kweku Nchi Jr. Something that's been attributed to Mr. Ken Kranchi. And it says analysis by Kenneth A.J. Kranchi, editor at large. The 1992 Constitution has placed an absolute bar on all former presidents of Ghana when it comes to how they can apply themselves after leaving office as president. They cannot occupy any office that offers profit or emolument except with the express permission of Parliament. The nature of the constitutional provision is of a nature as to constitute a complete bar, and it is becoming increasingly clear that if the former president continues in his attempt to stage a political comeback, he may need to overcome a constitutional challenge in the Supreme Court for a clause that leaves very little room for interpretation. Article 68(2) of the 1992 Constitution states that the president shall not, on leaving office as president, hold any office of profit or emolument except with the permission of Parliament in any establishment, either directly or indirectly, other than that of the state. The statement serves as an absolute bar on all former presidents of Ghana, such as President Jerry John Rawlings, John Agyekum Kufuor, and John Dramani Mahama. And it goes on and on and on. But the man himself, who is in court with the former President John Mahama, is joining us on the phone line. Mr. Ken Kranchi is an Accra-based journalist. Good morning, and thank you very much indeed for your time.
Good morning, sir.
Great, good to have you. You are in court. First of all, I want to understand, what are you looking for? Are you seeking interpretation, or you're looking for a declaration to bar former President Mahama from contesting the 2024 elections on the tickets of the NDC?
Well, first and foremost, we have put forward a request based on 8 declarations and about 5 orders from the court. That is our plea to the court.
And what will be the end game for you?
Well, the end game is for the Supreme Court to rationalize the position in as far as qualification to become a president in Ghana is concerned, and who is qualified to become president of Ghana, and also to rationalize the process of succession. For instance, because in the 1992 Constitution, even though it says that the president is qualified, or the president can ascend to office on 2 occasions, there is no clear bar as to whether a person who has served before as a president can come again. For instance, I've been listening to people who say that if Mr. Mahama were to succeed in 2024, a real case, constitutional case, can be made for him to assess a second term, and it's an argument that I agree. I think that the time is now for us to rationalize the process. If a person gets into office as a president, what is the term of the president? That's the question we are posing to the Supreme Court, because we believe that it's a 4-year term certain, and then the person who then can assess the second term is a person who is in the presidency, who is the sitting president. Otherwise, you do have people going away for 20 years, having a first term, going away for 20 years, and coming for their second term.
92. I see.
If they become the ex-president, then they fall under the clause you were just reading.
Right.
Article 68(2). So these are declarations that we have put before, reliefs that we have put before the Supreme Court to interpret and construct and hopefully see from our point of view.
Did you consider the timing of this action before the Supreme Court? Because there have been key arguments that have been raised that, well, you waited too long. The NDC has gone to endorse John Dramani Mahama as his flag bearer for the 2024 elections, and then boom, you come in with this. Did you consider timing as well?
Well, ahead of the 2020 election, I raised this issue. Unfortunately, beyond writing articles and publishing them on Ghana Web and other media handles, I did not take any action. Ahead of this one, I published various articles again. I then proceeded to go to Parliament. I sent a petition to Parliament around early April this year, hoping that they would, the clause that you just read, they would take up the authority that is given to them by the Constitution to vet former presidents. Now we have 2 former presidents, living former presidents, Mr. John Dramani Mahama and Mr. Kufuor, to bring them under the authority, because that is what that clause clearly says. But I was ignored, which left me with no option, because I wrote the article. He is aware. I spoke to where his lawyers often came on radio, so he was aware. When I sent the petition to Parliament, I also copied him, so he knew the situation, that people have raised very legitimate questions as to whether he was in a position to contest for 2024, and he stood for the flag bearership and won. I think that the time, there's nothing wrong with the time. It is absolutely apt that we go to the Supreme Court to give us a definitive ruling as to whether he's eligible or not.
Are you looking at the individual of John Dramani Mahama, and also in his capacity as former president, in this light, either or both? Number one, to the extent that are you saying that he can contest for president again if he had been the incumbent, or that you are looking at it cumulatively, that because he left for a first term, he is then not able to come for a second term because he's benefiting from emoluments and all other things, and the Constitution says he cannot run an office of profit?
When we look at the democracy, we should look at the democracy that will last 1,000 years. Okay, and the only way we can guide ourselves as to conduct and how we do our things is by precedent, that it happened before, and this is the way we did it. So it would be somehow to take on John Dramani Mahama personally as a person. This is has nothing to do with him as an individual. It has to do with setting the proper precedent. If a person becomes the president of Ghana and then becomes an ex-president of Ghana, is he qualified to contest?
92.7.
So I've put this question before the Supreme Court, and in there is former President Kufuor and former President Mahama.
Well,
then people would then make the argument. John Mahama has had a 1 term, and Mr. Kufuor has had a 2 term. The question is, what is the difference between the two?
You look at the political landscape, at least since 1992, when we started this fourth Republican Constitution and democracy, and you will notice that all the presidents that have had 2 terms were incumbents who contested while they were still in the big seat. So again, the question comes up. What you're asking is that Mr. Mahama would have to then go through Parliament to get the endorsement. That looks like a cumbersome process. But he continues to argue that he has also had just 1 term, and the Constitution says that he can run for 2 terms. Are you trying to, by this action, deny him of that?
I think that raises an issue of interpretation. Is the second term contiguous upon the first term, or can it be disparate? Can it be disparate? Can it be the case that you serve the first term, you are out of office for another 4 years, you come and serve the second term, or out of office for 8 years, you come and serve the second term? That is disparate. Each stands on its own. Or should it be contiguous? You are in, and then, so this is a question of interpretation that I'm putting before. But I favor the contiguous argument. The people on the side of Mr. Mahama obviously will favor the disparate argument.
But then if you for example have served your 2 terms, which will be 8 years, you cannot even dream of coming in for another term. That
is why we are asking the question in the Supreme Court, that the Supreme Court should pronounce that the presidential term in Ghana is 4 years. It's not 8 years. The presidential term in Ghana is 4 years. So anybody who tells you that the presidential term is 8 years is simply trying to throw sand. I think it's Article 66(1). So then you have Article 66 to that then say that you can then go for a second term. I'm saying that the two should be read together, and in my opinion, when you read it together, you get the contiguous second term.
Are you being pushed by political hands in the dark to do this?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So this is not a Dr. Baumia Alan Tremantin, Wachie Jako, or any of Kwabena Japan, Kennedy Japan agenda.
When I decided to study law, one promise I made to myself is to look at the law through the lens of the law, and not through the lens of partisanship, political partisanship, particularly the partisanship aspect of it. I think that I'm looking at this basically through the lens of the law. And all that is happening in our country, I think it will help if all of us who have had training in law will begin to look at things from the legal perspective as against taking partisan positions on issues, so that this nation can make progress. There has developed a group of people who believe that when things are wrong, the proper forum is to go to court, look at the thing impartially, legally, and see what solutions can be brought forth by the judiciary and by the system. As against allow yourself to be pushed by somebody. This thing is not political. Even though I'm an MPP person, this thing is not political.
I see. Now, did you measure the political temperature in the country before taking this move? Again, if the court grants what you're looking for and interprets the Constitution in such a way that it bars former President Mahama from contesting, mind you, he has been endorsed by his party as the flag bearer going into the 2024 elections. That will mean that the NDC will have to regroup, reorganize, and find another person. They will think that it's been a spanner that's been thrown in the works for them. They will not be too happy, and the political temperature in the country may rise. Did you check the temperature before taking this action?
Let's look at it from 2 points. Your question from the two sides that you took the question.
Right.
The first one is the issue of temperature. as I said before, I am looking at this thing purely from a purely lawful legal point of view, and not that to have this ramification or that ramification. Okay,
but that cannot be downplayed. That
if he's qualified, let him run. If he's not qualified, because you see, until we begin to, like my Professor from Watkins case, that he has been invited, and the people are saying, "Have you looked at the stature of the man?" It should have absolutely no effect at all. It should have absolutely no effect at all. If he has done something wrong and he needs to be investigated, he needs to be investigated. So what the ramifications, the outcomes really do not matter. As to whether the party has had this Congress and it will have an effect on the party. When I wrote to a petition Parliament, I sent a copy to the National Democratic Congress. I did not send a copy to MPP, because I knew that if the NDC takes a decision, this is a decision that will affect the National Democratic Congress. Obviously, they have to have notice. So I sent them a copy of the petition. They also did not react. That is the best you can do, Mr. Hughes.
So Parliament could not give you an answer to the conundrum that you had?
Not even a letter of acknowledgement.
And this petition was sent when exactly?
I think 11th of April. Is in the affidavit that I saw to this petition before the Supreme Court.
Wow. I see. Well, Mr. Kranchia, thank you very much indeed for your time.
I'm very grateful for your time, your airtime, please. I'm very grateful.
Grateful. Thank you very much. That's Mr. Ken Kranchi, and he's in court. Okay, so now we understand. The man is clear. We are clear now.
It's very, very clear.
Yeah, exactly. Crystal clear. Yeah, we understand.
I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day,
it is what it is.
He said he sent the petition letter to Parliament, no acknowledgement. He gave the NDC heads up. But as I'm saying, I mean, I have a different opinion, but I can't, go into that because the matter is in court. I mean, it is not for me to come and interpret anything here.
Of course.
The most important thing I pick from this is that is our democracy growing.
Yeah.
Going forward, the interpretation will come and it will guide all of us, especially those of us who want to be president in future.
Is that Wole Mesiedu 2028?
I mean, if I get, I'll be president of the republic. Why not? I'm qualified.
Okay, you
I'm 40 years.
You heard it here first.
I mean, if I get opportunity,
you have small grey, beard, black hair.
I mean, the grey is also showing in the brain.
Charlie,
there we have it.
Age has nothing on you, my brother. Let's hear from you. 055-924-2717, 055-924-2717, and 055-691-0154. This is the Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7. Remember that it will be Womenpreneur shortly. Helen, who are we hosting today?
We have a very fantastic womanpreneur. Her name is Yvonne Oklu. She's going to be dropping some serious gems and tips for the ladies that want to get into the creative space, event space. You're going to learn a lot today. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir. Pastor, how are you?
Oh, by the grace of God. And greetings to all cherished listeners.
Talk to me.
We are in a trying moment of our democracy, and we keep learning each day. There are those of us who are laymen to the law. And I think it's an interesting time. But I'll plead with the state institutions for us to have trust in them. At least listen to the lawyer or the man that you interview. A letter of acknowledgement is also okay. And these things happen almost across every sector. Even in the religious world, it happens. But when it happens that way, people don't begin to lose trust. But my brother, you see, I just want to know about Domelevo case also, Mr. Domelevo, because Supreme Court has cleared him, the president was accused, and other people involved. So what is the man coming back?
The man cannot come back, obviously, because he has another job. He's retired now. Yes. And he says that he's not interested in compensation package. He said he's not interested in any compensation because the man who took the action that resulted in his sack does not even pay taxes. So if he demands compensation, it will be like he's punishing the Ghanaian people who pay taxes.
Then may God bless him. But he said, okay, in fact, when he was interviewed on your station, the TV, over the weekend, I heard him saying that even he was once upon a time told that he should shut up, he's not a lawyer, doesn't have any right. But the man has been vindicated. So sometimes we should take time, stop looking into politics, but look at the lenses of the law. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir. Papa, talk to me. Yes, sir.
In fact, I'm really finding it difficult to criticize Ken Kwanche. He's one person that really values me. He's one person in MPP. There are a lot, but he has come out. And then, apart from him, Egbert Fable, these two, they really acknowledge my value when it comes to communication.
Right.
But to be frank with you, Ken, my good friend, has got it all wrong. But I like the way he put it. He said on the legal sort of thing that is doing it. But to be frank with you, I know there's some political undertone concerning this particular thing that he's doing. But you know what? He's going to really agitate people that are against this very government the more.
Why do you say that?
Oh, it is showing that the MPP are afraid of His Excellency John Mahama.
But he says what he's doing is not politically motivated.
I agree with him in a way, but I'm just also giving you my opinion. Are you getting my point?
Go ahead,
I'm
make your point.
giving you my opinion that what he's doing is rather going to give problem to the MPP come 2024 general election, because it will inform people that look, see, all the while not knowing the MPP, they are afraid of His Excellency John Mahama. But to be frank with you, Ghanaians are ready come 2024 to give their nod to His Excellency President John Mahama to come back to power. You understand?
Thank you,
So,
Papa.
no
Grateful.
problem.
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You see, Papa, you know something?
No, I
don't think you should worry yourself about Ken. Because we all know what Ken is capable of doing. You see, it's propaganda about the NDC and John Mahama. It's all out there for everyone to see. And if I may ask Johnny, is Ken Kwanche your senior in the journalism or your junior?
I think that we should not hold him. He's my senior. I started practicing before me, but
you know why?
But let's not. Let's not go for the personality of the individual.
My papa, daddy, because we know Ken Kwanche. We know it's all these propagandas about NDC here and then the John Mahama.
But he has admitted that he is NPP.
He's a friend to the president, because listen to me, speak to me. Whenever you become a friend with president, everything you do about propaganda here and there, you know, you'll be far from the truth. And Johnny, you are aware. Are you not aware?
I don't know. Johnny,
you of all people.
I don't know.
Your bite even buy people to the extent that they will go and carry Papa to find it. You forgot it. So to me, I'm not surprised about what Ken will say about the NDC and the John Mahama. The reality is that they are afraid of John Mahama. You see, when you bring all the flag bearers, those who are contesting for the flag bearership of the MPP, they can match John Mahama. And the Ghanaians are wide awake. If not, the feelings from this thing, J. Mensah and Co. and the Supreme Court judges, do you think Nanado will be retained? No. Because all the verdicts, even the verdict what J. Mensah gave out, and compared to even what Ani Yebua gave out.
Well, thank you very much. Point is well made. Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Kabula.
This.
Johnny, God bless you and your team.
Bless you too.
I really enjoy your in-house discussion. You always deal with the issue as it is, especially Uli. Johnny, tomorrow I'm celebrating my 73rd.
Wow. Look for a birthday song for Kosa and we'll play for him. Happy birthday in advance, sir.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to God. I'm asking Johnny,
this case about John Mama, from the question to John Mama, I think we are all watching what is happening, what will happen at the Supreme Court. We should not do anything that will instigate some kind of uprising in this country. We don't want that. So I know you will do this. You said something about Parliament that have sent from the petition to Parliament when there's no any acknowledgement. I want you to, to do something for all of us.
Okay.
That's for us to know from the Parliament what is happening there. So about this regular housing project, that we are charging somebody with causing financial loss to. Johnny, the project has been left to rot. Is it not also causing financial loss to the state? Is the court saying that the project shouldn't continue till the case gets to an end? Why can't you continue the project where the legal battle continues in court? And we are causing another financial loss. That's a real financial loss to the state. That we don't care. We are just because we think somebody coming from other side. We are just doing anything at all. Just I don't know. How long should we sit down for this project to run while we are charging people causing financial loss to the state of the country?
All right.
I think some people will also come and pay.
Thank you.
And I want to assure them, no matter what, rain or shine, John Mama will come and rescue this.
Thank you, Coach. I'm grateful. Good morning, Fatal. Diso.
Another day has come. Johnny, don't mind him. So if he want to test the waters, and let him test the waters. We have our legal team are ready, and are ready to battle the matter in court. If you go and tell Trump that he shouldn't come, if you go and tell Trump that he shouldn't contest, what is he talking about? We are learning from the Western world. Even those who say they know, and we learn from them. They have stepped down, they are coming back again. What are you talking about? We are ever ready. Nothing, Poco. They fear John Mama, they fear him, they know when he comes. This man will win. So they just want to find ways and means. That's why they've recruited a lot of judges all over. More than necessary. Okay. We are waiting.
All right. Thank you. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. And we're told that will be the end of our conversation. Quickly, let's engage a Cedro of GMB fame, and then we'll get into womenpreneur. Top dog. That's what we're talking about. I see.